Hi everyone. Today is Thursday, and if you are working, it's Jueves because tomorrow is a holiday. So yay! Um, Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Marianna Legaki. She is a child psychologist and family therapist. And today she's going to talk about just basically how this situation is affecting our kids. For those of you who are watching for the very first time, welcome. I am Denise. I am a mom of two living in Madrid, and I'm also a parenting coach. So, ever since they announced schools closing in Madrid, I decided to go live just to kind of share my experience as well as some other tips for parents who are going through the same thing. And I also really enjoy inviting other people to join me just because it's so nice to hear other people's wisdoms and also their insights and experience. So today we have Marianna. Hi, Marianna.
Hello, Denise. I'm very happy that I'm here, that you are giving this opportunity to the parents to be connected and exposed to this information, which I think is going to be very useful for them.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who are watching, if you have any questions while Mariana's sharing her wisdom, just write them down and we'll get to them when we see them. Okay. So Mariana, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in our children?
This is a very general question, but
well,
yes, I think that it's a very important topic because if we have the information in advance, it's going to help us a lot in order to prevent sometimes and not intervene if there is a problem coming up, especially in situations like this. That it's a crisis period, it's something that everyone faces for the first time. And I think having the information in advance is going to help everyone. I was thinking to talk about the warning signs that we may see to many kids when there is this quarantine, this confinement, and everyone is dealing with so many changes at the same time. Kids, they don't always verbalize their struggles and anxiety, and other mental health issues can manifest in many different ways. So these warning signs, you can find them everywhere, but I think the most important thing is to know that the theory that leads behind that. I would like to talk about the fundamental theory about how the child's brain works, because if we do this, we will be able to read what is the behavior, but what lies behind that behavior.
That's what I always say. So it's like, yes, tell me.
So I would like to describe the kid's brain like the upstairs and the downstairs brain. Imagine like that it's in two parts, because it's going to help us visualizing it that way. And having the downstairs brain, it's where the primitive brain is, where all the emotional, it's responsible for the basic functions, for all the impulses, the strong reactions that we have, the fight flight. So it's very, very primitive. And it's fully developed since birth. And then we have the upstairs brain. The upstairs brain is the word, it could be work in progress. It's like the highly sophisticated one. Is the linguistic, is where the thinking is going on, the planning, where you control over your emotions in your body. So as you understand, this is not fully developed. It's under construction totally. It's fully and it gets fully mature in the middle 20s. So
yeah. Can we just say it again to everyone who's listening? She said that it gets fully mature in the mid 20s.
And sometimes not even then for some, but okay. So what is happening when we are under a very stressful period, or a crisis situation is happening. Normally, what is activated first is the downstairs brain, and is where our emotions are on fire, and they are trying to find a place to understand why we are feeling what we are feeling. So in an ideal world, then the upstairs brain comes and tells you, you're feeling this because you are that, and maybe you could do this in order to feel better. And this, hopefully, it happens for adults sometimes. For kids, this is not the case, and especially in the very first years, this is something that is not happening, and they need the parents, either the parents to help them put words into these feelings, or they manifest these behaviors that we need to be aware of, and to be able to comfort them and help them in any way possible. So during this period, I am having a lot of sessions with parents that they are complaining about regressive behaviors. You know, a child that had grown out of a certain stage, and then they come back. They have changes in appetite, sleep issues, changes in moods, in behaviors. I see that you're doing this, so
Yeah.
you've been exposed to that too. A lot of acting out behaviors. There are parents that they are so pissed of their kids that they are throwing tantrums, and I don't understand why they are doing this. So, as I said before, before we are able to talk about a behavior, it's important to know what is behind this. Knowing this theory and knowing why the kid is acting out, why lead my kids to behave that way, why is not sleeping or not eating well. Maybe the why prevents us for making the mistake and focus on the behavior. This is the one part that I wanted to mention. Now, as parents, I think that there are many things that we could do in order to support our kids and prevent instead of intervene these warning signs, which is not always very easy. Especially now that the kids are, the parents are working. This is a very challenging topic for many parents because they want to aspire to have the perfect image and to be very nice parents and stimulate them. But at the same time, they have to work, they have to make the bread at home. So this is something that it's important for them to know what to do, and if it doesn't happen, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my experience, I think that first of all, we have to keep kids in the loop, but it's simple. So they have to know what is going on. They have to know what is Corona, why we are here and we can't go out. But they don't need to know every single detail, every single thing, and project our fears to them. Be exposed to the news and listening all day long. This is very frustrating for kids. So, in my opinion, first, what you have to do is to find the misinformation around Corona and what they already know. When you have it clear that what you understand, they also understand it, then they may have questions that you don't know. So if they are older kids, then it's a great opportunity in order to search together and find the right answer in trustworthy websites like the World Health Organization and these kind of things. And then also for younger kids, it's important to let them know how important the important role that kids can play in keeping themselves healthy. All these things about washing our hands and keep social distancing, etc. Now The second thing that I think is very, very important, and in my case with my little one, it helped me very much, is to stick to a routine. Like the kids need structure, full stop. Full stop. Structure is what makes, it's the boundaries that they make you feel safe.
Yeah.
You need to think what we value and build a structure that reflects that. So you make sure that there is a schedule for the day, and you wake up and you have to, okay, it's not always so easy, but
Yeah.
more or less you have to know that there is a little bit of homework, there is a little bit of chores in the house that you may help because mommy and daddy, they are working. um, there is some playtime where you can use your phone if you want, but also there's some screen-free time that you should use your imagination or do something else.
Yeah.
These are things that should be clear from the beginning. And with older kids, making this known, then you may ask them to come up with a plan. So you involve them as a part of the solution.
Yeah.
And I think this is, they feel that they are very important and they take the role in the house.
Yeah.
In my experience, I think with the schedule, it worked a lot, the timer, because my little one knows a more or less. So 5 minutes more, and then we go to sing. And the reminders, they help the transitions. So like 10 minutes before, I want you to know that in 10 minutes, we will turn off the TV and we are going to eat. So prepare the ground in order not to have explosions afterwards.
Yeah. We used to have it, we still have it, but it's broken. But we used to have like one of those timers where you can actually see like the minutes going down. So like it turns red, for example, and then it gets less and less. Like the red part slowly disappears. Yeah, just to kind of like help them see visually, like, okay, I only have this amount of time left to finish whatever I'm doing.
Yes. Yeah. This is very important. It helped me personally, so I'm sharing it in case someone else wants to try.
Yeah.
Now, let's go a little bit to the more emotional part. I think that it's very important to be able to tune with our kids' feelings. And talking about tuned, that means that they may be like happy feelings. I've seen like adolescents that they were uber excited that the school is closing and they will be home and they were jumping up and down. Yes, but this is something that you should empathize with them, let them know that you are also excited, that they are happy. But there is always this lovely word. But you should know that it's not vacation, and at the same time we will have to do certain things, but it's so cool that we will be all together as a family. So we keep it positive, and at the same time we pass the whole picture to our kids. But of course, the feelings, they are not always very happy. The majority of the kids, and especially the older ones, they had a lot of frustrated and sad feelings. With the school closure comes the canceled concerts and school plays and sports. So in the scope of an adolescent life, those are major losses. And we maybe could understand it if we think that 1 year of an adolescent life equals to 7 years of an adult life.
Oh, I've never heard that before. Yeah.
So this is very important, because many times we try to guilt them out of it, to tell them, how can you be sad when there are other kids that they don't have balcony, or that they don't they are not so likely to offer this and that. This thing is like the against of empathy, because you try to redirect their frustration into something that it's not their reality. So in my opinion, I think that support, expect, and normalize that they are sad about their losses. It's something that it's very, very important. And now the last point for this is that when it comes to processing a difficult emotion, take your cues from your child and think about balancing talking about feelings and finding distractions, because many parents, when they see their kid that is under a difficult feeling, they say, you're sad, but you know what, let's go to build something, let's go to build a tower.
Yeah, like when you have the baby and they're like, look at the keys, look at the keys, look at the keys.
Which is, it's amazing. Like sometimes we have to do it, especially when the feeling is too much. It gets, it makes the kid overwhelmed. But it shouldn't be always that way. Many times we should have in mind that kids, they are experiencing this feeling, and we are not clowns, like to try to make them laugh all the time. We should always there with empathy, ask them why they are feeling this, and try to put words into these feelings.
Yeah, it's a hard balance.
Very hard one, especially if you're in a rush.
Yeah, just like today, for example, what was it? I think we were trying to go home. We were only supposed to be out for an hour, and my daughter was saying she didn't want to go home. She was tired, her legs were itchy, and all these like random things. And because in my case, I always try first to empathize and then like see from there. So I was trying to like empathize, like, yeah, I know, blah blah blah, and it wasn't working. And so I was just like, oh look, are we gonna go look for elephants? I wonder what we'll find. And that kind of got her moving.
Yes.
So yeah, it's hard. It's like you can't do too much of either one, and it's about finding that balance.
It's a cocktail. You need both in order for your life to be spicy and tasty enough. This is what we should at least aspire of. And another thing that I wanted to comment, I don't know how we are about time.
Maybe one more thing, and then
one more thing is about monitoring our own behavior. So if we are facing anxiety, we should manage anxiety in our own time, not overshare. Like it's very, very normal that we watch TV and we are exposed in all this information. So sometimes parents get overwhelmed too, and this means that you may contain these emotions, which is hard. But imagine that kids, they are like passengers and we are like the ones that we are driving the car. So even if you are anxious as a driver, you wouldn't like to know the passengers that you are that stressed that you may crash the car. It's very important that you do your own. You learn to soothe yourself by yourself with your partner, but not involve for unnecessary reasons. There is no reason to overwhelm them with so much information, with our own fears, to see us like all the time with washing our hands, and not let everyone. I mean, we have to do it, but we should be careful on how much project our fears.
Yeah. It reminds me of when you're on a plane and your plane hits turbulence, and then they say to look at the flight attendant, and if the flight attendant doesn't look worried, then you don't have to be worried. But if she does look worried, then that's when maybe you can start panicking. So it's kind of like the same thing, right? Where it's like our children also look to us to see how they should be feeling.
A last thing that I want just to mention, it's just one sentence, but it helped me a lot when I had to come up with the plan of structure that I said before, It's about being creative, about the new activities that we are doing in order to have a balanced schedule. And
Mhm.
it helped me a lot brainstorm ways with my
Mhm.
husband to go back to 80s before the time of screen prevalence. So we were talking about, do you remember what you did in this summer camp? And it
Mhm.
helped, it made you have fun. So it gave us a lot of inspiration in order to find ways to keep our little one busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's another thing that it was very helpful for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then thank you so much for all of your tips. So if parents do see kind of like behavior in their children that worry them, and they are looking for a child psychologist, where can they find you?
I can send my email and I can give all my contact details in order for them to email me and phone me
Mm-hmm.
anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to help any way I can.
Yeah, and you also have a Facebook page, right? Or was that
Yeah,
your? Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll put your Facebook page as well in the video description. And kind of similar to what Mariana was saying about how we also, as parents, have to find our way to process our stress and our worries and anxiety. As a parenting coach, that is also something that I can help you with. If you feel a bit overwhelmed, and you can kind of see how this is trickling down into your kids and you feel like you need some support, just also send me a message and I will be happy to help you. So thank you
Thank
to
you so much,
everyone
Denise.
who's been listening. Thank you, Mariana. It's so nice to hear from you. And I'll see you guys next week. I hope you all have a very nice weekend. And hopefully we all get to go outside and walk as a family this weekend. We'll see. Okay. Bye everyone.
Bye.